I'm Hallie Hillert,
Savannah Garza,
Danielle Brown, and for our biographical research presentation, we have chosen the historical figure Thomas Jefferson.
Our academic sources include Thomas Jefferson and His World by American Heritage, and Thomas Jefferson, third President of the United States by Rebecca Steffoff.
We believe that Thomas Jefferson was not only a great supporter for independence from England, but also an instrumental character and leader in our fight for freedom.
Thomas Jefferson's story began when he was born on April 13, 1743, in a simple four-room house at Shadwell, Virginia, to Peter and Jane Jefferson. He proclaims that one of his earliest memories was of leaving Shadwell when he was about 2. A slave on horseback bore him on a pillow for 70 miles along wilderness trails to William Randolph's pleasant Tidewater estate, Tuckahoe. This was because Randolph was dying. He begged of Peter Jefferson one final act of friendship, to move to Tuckahoe, run the plantation, and raise and educate his children who were already motherless. It was here that Thomas had his first form of schooling alongside the Randolph children. Later, he returned to Shadwell only to be sent off to a Latin school run by an England clergyman named William Douglas. His third place of education was in the Loghouse School of Reverend James Morey, a clergyman of Huguenot ancestry who had enthusiasm for Latin and Greek studies. However, when Jefferson's father died the summer before he became 15, he returned home and took over more responsibilities. In January 1760, he began attending the College of William and Mary. When he graduated in the spring of 1762, he had a blossoming interest in law. Whenever he came across an interesting law, an important legal decision, or an impressive philosophical idea, he copied it into what he called a commonplace book.
In 1762, he took on an apprenticeship with the Lord George Wythe that lasted about 5 years. Jefferson's apprenticeship with Wythe was completed early in 1767. In April, he passed the examination that admitted him to the Virginia bar. Then, in December 1768, at the age of 26, he was elected to the House of Burgesses, making him the youngest member. It was during this time that England was heavily enforcing taxation with the Stamp Act of 1765 and the Townshend Acts of 1767. While many colonists hoped that the American colonies would continue to be governed by England under improved laws and with representatives in Parliament, Jefferson went further. He felt that the American colonies must become independent. If they were to associate with England by ties of trade and diplomacy, it should be a relationship of two equal sovereign states, not one state and its colonies. After taking his seat in the House of Burgesses, Jefferson soon became known as one of the leaders of the anti-British movement. He was one of a group of officials who voted in 1769 to pass a resolution that said that the people of Virginia, not the British Parliament, should be imposed taxes on Virginians.
England was unhappy with this claim and in result dissolved the House of Burgesses. Then, in the early 1770s, people who shared anti-British feelings formed the committees of correspondence in every colony. And before long, members of the committees were calling themselves patriots. Jefferson was a member of one of the first committees of correspondence. Always best with pen and paper, he argued forcefully in his letters for the colonists' right to govern themselves independently. In August 1774, he was asked to write a document for the delegates setting forth the arguments in favor of reduced taxation.
Going above and beyond what he was asked to do, Jefferson created a summary view of the rights of British America. In summary view, Jefferson maintained that the colonies had no obligation to remain under England's control. He claimed that, in leaving England for America, the colonists had broken their old ties with the parent country and had actually founded a new state. He also stated that the colonists had the right to form a society and a government of their own. This idea became a reality during the Second Continental Congress meeting, where delegates were to prepare a statement for the case of independence. Out of 5 delegates, Thomas Jefferson was appointed to draft such a document. After 17 days, he created the Declaration of Independence. When he sat down to write, Jefferson said many years later, his goal was not to find new principles or new arguments never before thought of, not merely to say things which had never been said before, but to place before mankind the common sense of the subject, in terms so plain and firm as to command their assent, and to justify ourselves in that independent stand we are compelled to take, and to give that expression the proper tone and spirit called for by the occasion. Our group believes that we should continue to remember Jefferson in the 21st century for this success.
The Declaration of Independence did not set forth any new or unheard of principles.
Rather, it drew upon familiar political arguments, it appealed to the emotions of the stirred-up colonists, and it used the language of the law courts, churches, and all educated people of Jefferson's time.
But it is universal in its application, In attempting to explain why 13 small colonies on the eastern edge of the North American continent deserved to have independence, Jefferson created a defense of liberty for all nations and all people.